What's happening, guys? My name is Anthony, and in today's video I'm bringing you another track guide, this time for the circuit of the Americas. So as usual, if you're new to the channel and you've never seen one of these track guides before, what we do is we take you around a slow lap just to give you guys some details about the track and how to be quick there, and then I'll show you guys a hot lap towards the end of the video that shows you in real time what you need to do based on some of the details we've talked about during the slow lap. So before we get into the slow lap, there's a couple of things I need you guys to do. First, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you do learn from this. Secondly, if you want to see the baseline setup spreadsheet, make sure to go into the pinned comments and check that out. Still filling it out as we go along, but as time goes on, it will be finished and it will be updated. I do need to update it because of the setup changes that have been made due to the handling model update. And lastly, make sure to go to the comment section after you've watched this video and done some practice and let me know how much time you were able to gain thanks to this track guide. So without further ado, let's get into the slow lap, and then after that, the hot lap. Okay guys, so coming up to the final corner, we're pretty much back to normal, where you want to take the final corner differently when you're starting your hot lap versus when you're finishing it. So you want to take a wider line in third gear here, and the reason why you want to do that is because you're about to see this start finishing line straight is really long. Yes, turn one is all the way up there, so you want to make sure that you're carrying as much momentum down this straight as you possibly can. So you want to go wide and then get your foot on the throttle earlier so you can carry all of that speed up to turn one. So for turn one, some people like to use all of the track going in. Personally, I don't. I like to stay on the tarmac. Doesn't really make much of a difference for me, but some people just prefer to use the green. And as you can see there is a black box and a white line on track. So I usually use the black box because it's just generally easier to see. So that's what I do. But if you want to use the white line as your reference point, and it's completely up to you. What I like to do is, just as I'm getting to the black box, that's when I start to brake in a straight line. You wanna brake as hard as you can. Obviously you're going uphill, so at this point in time that's gonna help you brake as well. Quickly down into fourth gear, and this first corner is kind of weird because the apex of the corner technically isn't the curb, so you want to actually be on the throttle as soon as you possibly can, which is before the curb. So one last downshift into third as you're turning in, and then you already want to be on the throttle by this point because the exit here, as you can see, it really tightens up, but you want to be on the throttle as quickly as you can, or else you're just going to end up losing time here. So you want to be as smooth as well, because as you can see, it's downhill. You can easily lose the car here. And then for this corner, use all the curbing that you can. If you do end up spinning and you don't have the confidence to use that curb, then I would suggest missing it. You won't lose too much time, but obviously in qualifying you want to be as quick as possible. You want to gain those thousandths if possible. And then for this corner, you're going to be in 7th gear by this point. This corner completely flat, then this next corner completely flat, just take the curbings. And then for this corner, some people brake and stay in 7th gear. I personally brake and then shift down into 6th gear for this corner. So yeah, shift down into 6th gear for this corner, and then for this corner you want to hit a double apex because this is going to give you a better line going into the corner after this one. So you want to hit a nice early apex, drift the car out wide, and then hit a second later apex here. And then as you can see, this next corner, completely blind. You can't see the apex from here, or you could just about see where the apex is going to be, just about. So what I like to do is use the black box again as reference. This corner is all about just memory, so you need to just practice so you can build up that muscle memory. Just before the black box, brake down into 5th gear, and that allows me to carry quite a lot of speed through. Depending on the angle, I found that just touching the orange curb here is the quickest way to go through. So just touch the orange curb with the left hand side of your wheel, with your car, and then just stay to the left as much as possible so that you can really attack this corner here. Because if you go in too early, then the corner is just gonna be a lot longer, and it means you're just gonna end up losing time. So you want to be wide coming into it, then brake down into 4th gear here, and then just hug this curbing as much as you can. Get on the throttle as smooth and as quickly as you can, and really attack this corner using all the track possible so you can carry all of that momentum down into this next corner. And speaking of this next corner, in 7th gear, just after the 100-meter board. Again, some people like to use all of the track. I personally don't for this corner, but yeah, on tarmac, down into third gear, and you can really attack this curbing here. What I've found is that if you use any more of this curb than the cone that you see right in front of me, it will invalidate your lap. So just use that cone as a reference, and then you can really attack that corner, get your foot on the power as smooth and as quickly as you can. This is the longest straight on the track, so you really want to focus on your exit coming off of that particular corner there, because if you don't, then you are going to lose a lot of time down this straight here. So coming up to this next corner, I like to use all of the track for this corner. Again, you can see there's the meter boards there. I don't use the meter boards as a reference. I actually use the F1 2021 logo that you see there as my reference point, because that is pretty much the perfect place where you want to break in between the 100 and 150 meter board. But yeah, as you hit that breakdown, it is a downhill section, so you are more prone to locking up the tires. You do have to brake a little bit earlier than you would, just because it is downhill and it's harder to stop the car. So yeah, shifting down into third gear here, and this is another curb that you can really just attack. What I've found is using all of this curbing up until this orange chassis curb in the middle here. If you use any more than that, then you will invalidate, and then just get your foot on the throttle as smoothly as you can. This next corner is very, very tricky, mainly because there's no real decent reference points for this corner. What I actually like to use is the guy on the left hand side. You can just about see him here, and when you're doing hot laps and when you're racing, it is very difficult to see him, so you really got to just go by memory for this corner. But yeah, as I'm approaching that guy on the left hand side, that's when I start braking down into third gear. Hold the brakes just for a little bit longer than you instinctively would, and the reason for that is just so that you can really keep the car as tight as possible going off of this corner, because if you go too wide, then you're just going to end up going on the curbings. It's going to unsettle the car, and you're just going to lose a lot of time here. So try and stay towards the middle of the track, and then short shift up to fourth, just so you can try and get that traction down as smoothly as you can. One last upshift to fifth, and then for this corner, just as I've passed this curbing, the green curbing I'm talking about, well, the more astroturf, I guess you could call it, not curbing, but the green section, that's when I start to brake. You're going to be in fifth gear here, and you want to stay as wide as possible. You still can't see the apex really here, but you want to stay as wide as possible so that you can attack the apex. The turning point is, again, very similar with most corners here at Circuit of Americas, all down to memory. You've just got to continue practicing so that you can remember it. Downshift into second gear, and then just really attack this curb as much as you can. Short shift as soon as you hit the apex up to third, and then get your foot on the power as smoothly as possible. This next sequence of corners is very similar to turn 8, I believe, at Istanbul, where it's a four apex corner. You want to hit the second apex and the final apex to get the best line through this section here. So just you're going to be completely flat in qualifying. I do believe in the race, if your setup is a bit aggressive, so if it's more if the rear end is turning in quite aggressively, you might actually need to lift, especially towards the beginning here. But once again, second apex you want to hit, drift the car out wide, and then hit that last final apex here. Then for this next corner, you're going to be in 7th gear. Just before you hit this black box, drift the car out towards the green, and then just brake hard, downshift into 5th gear. Hit this apex, don't hit the orange chassis curb, or else it'll just unsettle the car and potentially give you an invalidation. So just touch the curb with your left-hand tires, and then get on the power as smoothly as you can. This final corner now, you want to brake before the black box, brake in a straight line down into 3rd gear, and then you want to cut this curb as much as you possibly can without invalidating, and then just get your foot on the throttle as quickly and as smoothly as you can, because the finish line is right there. So that is a lap of the Circuit of the Americas. What I'm going to do is, I've already done the hot lap, so I'm going to pass you over to Anthony, and he is going to show you how to tackle this circuit in real time. Okay, so that's it for the Circuit of the Americas track guide. I hope that this is now able to gain you a couple of attempts or even a couple of seconds, depending on how quick you already are. And if you did learn from this and you are enjoying the content that I'm putting out, make sure to smash the like button. It lets me know that you are enjoying the content as well as learning from it. And in addition to that, make sure to wait until the end card, because the end card will show you the track guide playlist that we've got going on there. So that means you can check out all the track guides that I've done up until this point. So I'll see you guys in my next track guide. Laters.